good, y'all? Welcome back to the 11th episode of the Cycle 365. I'm one of your co-hosts, Simon Villanos.
And I'm Jesse Booten.
And we're here to just go over a bunch of sports. We know we haven't been as consistent, dropping content, but, school is going on. Got to focus on that first, but we're here to give y'all a quick little podcast, just going over a handful of sports. Jesse, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, this will be a short little one. We're just going to give you guys some fun little things here.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to start off by just updating you guys on the NHL picture here. Hockey is now underway. We're 20 games into the season, so it's definitely full swing here. So I was just going to give you the update here. We're going to go through the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. Just going to tell you guys the top three of each division and then the two wild cards, just so you know. So we have the Eastern Conference in the Atlantic Division. You have Boston at 1. They're also the number one overall seed. No, just kidding. That's wrong. Washington's the overall number one seed, who's first in the Metropolitan. And then you have Montreal, second in the Atlantic, and Florida third in the Atlantic. And then in the Metropolitan, as I said, Washington, the number one overall seed in the Eastern Conference. Then you have the Islanders at 2, Carolina at 3, and then the two wild cards are Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. I think there are two surprises here in the Eastern Conference. One, Florida. I don't think many people thought that Florida, the Panthers, would be doing as well as they are this year. They do have some good forwards, so it makes sense that they're scoring a lot of goals. But yeah, they're surprised to be number 3 in the Atlantic, I would say. And then you could say the New York Islanders. They had a big offseason, so I definitely think that they can compete, and they are right now, but I think it's still a little surprising how fast they got it and they're the number 2 seed in the Metropolitan Division. And then I think the biggest surprise for the wild card is Pittsburgh. Everyone thought Pittsburgh would be in the top 3 of all of one of the conferences, and but they're sitting at the first wild card right now. The Penguins, they've lost a good amount of games that they were supposed to win, so I think they need to look forward, and I think they will pick it up in the end, or in future here, and I think in the end they'll still be in one of those top 3 spots. But as of right now, they're a surprise in the wild card. Yeah, moving on to the Western Conference. In the Central, you have St. Louis at 1, Colorado at 2, Winnipeg at 3, and then in the Pacific, you have Edmonton, Arizona, and Vancouver. And then the two wild cards are Dallas and Calgary. I think there's only one surprise here, Arizona. The Coyotes. No one thought they would do well, but they are the number 2 in the Pacific right now. And then we can just talk about Edmond for a second. They're supposed to be really good this year, and they're playing to that potential. Their 2 top guys, McDavid and Duracelli, if that's how you say his name. I don't know. They're both just head over heels over everybody else in the whole league. They are scoring ridiculous amounts. I mean, I watched a game the other night where Edmonton, McDavid had 5 points. He had 3 goals and 2 assists, which is just crazy for a game. And of course, that was against the Avalanche, so yeah, but that's okay. But the Avalanche are still holding strong. So that's really the update from the NHL world. Yeah, that's all I got.
Nice. All right, and I'll do NBA real quick. We'll just go over the standings. So today, by the way, is November 17th at the time we're recording this. So at this point, we're around 13, 14-ish games into the NBA season. Basketball is in full swing. So I'm going to start with the Eastern Conference. Just go, down the line, who's leading it, and the teams following them. So pretty much an early playoff picture right now. But right now in the Eastern Conference, we have the Boston Celtics, 10-1. Kemba Walker, he's been balling out. Jason Tatum stepped up at times, even though he's been struggling. They still look good. Right now they're at 10-1. They're rolling. I'll just say that they're rolling. Right after that, we have a little bit of a surprise team, a team I definitely counted out, the Miami Heat. In the second spot at 9-3, Tyler Hero, whatever. The rookie, he's been playing really well.
Didn't you and Cody have an argument about the Heat, of how he thought the Heat were going to be good and you didn't, Simon?
Yeah, we did. I'll admit to that. Jimmy Butler's been good. I didn't think there'd be anybody else helping out Jimmy Butler either. But
yeah,
that's fine. It's a nice surprise. I don't mind it. And then after that, we have the Bucks with the same record. Giannis doing his thing. We have the Raptors at number 4, still holding strong even after Kawhi left. Pascal Siakam's been balling out. We have the 76ers at 5. They are 7-5. At times a little bit disappointing. They've had a lot of disappointing losses against bad teams, so we'll see how that folds out. Following the 76ers, we have the Indiana Pacers at 7-6. We have another surprise team, the Charlotte Hornets, at the 7th spot at 6-7, and then the Brooklyn Nets, surprisingly, at 5-7. Not playing as well to start as some people would think, but as of now, the Boston Celtics are on the Eastern Conference. It really doesn't look like anybody else is going to challenge them, maybe except for the Milwaukee Bucks, possibly, the Miami Heat, but time will tell. We'll see. The Western Conference, it's much tighter, a lot more competitive. We have at number 1 the LA Lakers, led by LeBron and Anthony Davis at 10-2. They've been hitting their stride. LeBron, he's looked really good. Did you see that that posterizing dunk he had over what's his name on the Sacramento Kings?
I did not, but you can just. You can imagine if you have LeBron James, Anthony Davis, your team's probably pretty good. So.
Oh yeah, and LeBron's fully rested. This is the first time he's had a full off season to recover in like 15 years, so that's scary. And then we have the Houston Rockets at 10-3. Cody's really high on them, so no surprises there. Then at number 3, the Denver Nuggets at 8-3. And guess who one of those losses were to?
The Mavericks.
My Dallas Mavericks.
Can I chime in about the Nuggets real fast?
Go for it.
Well, I'm a Nuggets fan, and we all are here. We know that, but
except for me.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think they should be doing as good as they are. They're playing pretty bad, and they're just getting lucky at the end of these games.
No, that's true.
Their defense looks terrible, and they can't shoot to save their lives. Really, I think the bright spot of this team right now is Paul Millsap.
Yeah, he's been playing better than expected.
Yeah. He did, but I'm just saying, it's interesting if the Nuggets need to figure out if they want to continue to do what they're doing and stay in the top 3. Because if they continue to play how they are, they're not going to be there. They got destroyed by Trae Young in the Hawks, but
they need to figure it out. Jamal Murray, he's been struggling a lot too. He just hasn't looked good. Even I watched him, in person when we all went down to Denver to watch them play the Mavericks, and he struggled a lot. Granted, most of the stars in that game were struggling a lot. And it basically came down to the bench players carrying both teams. But Jamal Murray doesn't look good. He needs to figure it out soon, or you'll see Denver start dropping.
Yeah, I would say just Denver needs to figure it out. They need to start playing with some passion in the future.
Yeah, they need to pick it up a little bit. But like I said, we're only 11 games in, 12 games in.
Yep.
So right after that, we have the Utah Jazz at 8-4. Not really much to say there. They're always kind of in that middle spot. But here's a really big surprise. We have the Phoenix Suns at 7-4, sitting at the 5th spot, right above the Clippers and the Mavericks, actually. And who would have thought?
And I know one person that would have thought.
Yeah, well, so our friend Zach, he's a Phoenix Suns fan. But, he's how do you say it? He's a delusional Phoenix Suns fan. That's the word, yeah. But Devin Booker and the boys have been playing really well. I guess Aaron Baines has been playing out of his mind too, with DeAndre Ayton currently.
I know, but just imagine when he comes back.
Yeah, he'll be really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, on Ayton, he's currently serving that 20-something game suspension. He'll be back relatively soon, I think. It's going by quickly. 20 games isn't too much, especially at the beginning of the season.
Yep.
And then, like I said, we have the Clippers at 6. Paul George literally just came back. I think if it wasn't last night, it was 2 days ago. In these first 2 games he's played, actually, he scored 70 points, which is a Clippers franchise record for a player in their first 2 games. A new player in the first 2 games. So 70 points so far. He dropped like 34 last night. He's been looking good. Kawhi's been looking good as well. So moving forward, that's great. Then we have my Dallas Mavericks at 7-5. Real up and down. It makes me mad whenever we lose to the New York Knicks because we've already lost them twice in New York. Which I don't know how that gets scheduled twice, but whatever. They'll figure it out. Luka's been balling out. Porzingis, he showed flashes at times. He's currently averaging something around like 18 points, more than 5 or 6 rebounds, a couple blocks a game. He's still on the recovery. He'll be on his way. Then we have the Timberwolves rounding it out at number 8 at 7-6. Andrew Wiggins, he's been playing a lot better, averaging over 20 points a game. Picking it up. A lot of people were labeling him a bust before the season, so it's great to see him do well. And then a couple of surprise teams that aren't doing well. Currently at 11, we have the Portland Trail Blazers at 5-8, and then the San Antonio Spurs at 5-8. Oh, and I guess we have the Golden State Warriors who are 2-11 without basically their whole team.
Yeah.
So that's basically NBA. Not a lot to say.
Yeah.
Still a lot of this change, but
Yep. And then on the basketball note too, college basketball has started. It's just getting going here, picking up some steam.
It has.
We're not going to report on it yet, just because there hasn't been enough games yet. We'll talk about it in the future, coming up week or so. But biggest upset so far: Kentucky losing to Evansville.
Yeah.
That's a big
see
one.
That one
Nope.
I thought that was a real surprise.
I think it was fun. I saw I looked up on the internet, and if the playoffs were to end, if March Madness was to start right now,
Yeah.
Evansville would be a number 1 seed, Georgia Tech would be a number 1 seed, Texas would be a number 1 seed,
They would.
and
Beat all the Bears, by the way, too.
yeah, I don't know who the other number one seed was, but it was just funny to look at that, how Evansville would be a number 1 seed right now.
They would.
But anyways, we'll talk more about that in the future when we get a few more games in.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe some NBA draft talk coming soon here. It's
Yep.
never too early for draft talk of any
Yeah.
sport.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're going to stay, speaking of college football, we're going to talk, or college sports, we're going to talk about college football.
Yep.
And so I'm just going to go over the standings real quick. I think...
The AP polls came out today for week 13. Yep.
Okay, I'm looking at them right now.
I don't think anything changed in the top 4. I think it's still LSU at 1, Ohio State at 2, Clemson at 3, and Georgia at 4.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
So, okay. We did not get a chance to talk about this LSU-Alabama game. And we're going to talk more about Alabama soon. So, is there really much to say here? LSU, they came out hot. They played well. Alabama tried to make a comeback, but it was too late. It was still a good game.
It was a very good game to watch.
Yeah, but
I would say
unfortunately-
second best of the week for that week, 2 weeks ago. Because
I
TCU Baylor, I was there, 3 overtimes. It was crazy.
Yeah, that was a crazy game as
Yeah.
well. But we have bad news about Baylor. They definitely lost.
Baylor lost.
Which ends their season. They lost a close one to Oklahoma. They're, it just came down to those last 2 plays at the end. Baylor's quarterback, honestly, you could tell he was real nervous. He threw one throw basically into the hands of the defender, and then he looked that same way, stared down that receiver, and threw a pick
To the
off
same
route.
defender.
Yeah, to that same defender. So that's depressing.
Yeah, so yeah, they were going into this week, there were 5 undefeated teams. 2 of them lost, Baylor being one of them, like we just talked about, and the other one, Minnesota.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, we both wanted them to pull it through, but they did not. So that leaves just 3 undefeated remaining.
It does. So we got LSU, Ohio State, Clemson.
Yeah.
I think at this point I'd say they're probably locked in.
I would say all 3 are locked.
Yeah. But
Unless, of course, I don't even know. The only reason I would say maybe is if Ohio State loses to a 1-loss team in the championship,
I could
Big
see
Ten
that.
championship, like a Penn State, which I don't think they'll lose to Penn State, but
See.
or even Minnesota.
That's true, but see if that was to happen. So say, Minnesota, Penn State, they finish out. I don't know who, or wait, do they play each other?
They already did. They already
did?
Yeah, Minnesota already beat Penn State.
Okay, so yeah, there you go. So say Minnesota, they make it in, right? They play Ohio State.
Which is what it's looking like right now.
Yeah. If they beat Ohio State, they got a ticket into the playoffs, right?
They do.
Yeah.
They're in the playoffs.
Okay, yeah. So there you go. So there's still a chance for Minnesota. I
Yeah.
don't think Penn State as much.
No, I don't think Penn State has a chance. I think LSU's a lock. There's no one that's going to beat them in the SEC.
They do have Georgia, potentially in that conference championship.
Yeah, but I still think they'll beat Georgia. I think LSU's in. Unfortunately, I think Clemson's in. I don't think they're going to win when they get in, but they're in.
Yeah.
And then that 4th spot's still a question mark right now.
It'll be interesting because right now I see Oregon at 6 and Utah at
Yeah,
7.
but it's going to come down to the Pac-12 championship there.
Yeah.
The winner of that could go.
That'll be interesting.
It'll be a good
really
game.
interesting.
It'll be a good game. I still have Oregon winning, but
Yeah, no, for sure. There's been college football playoffs where they've had teams from 4 different conferences make it in, right?
I think there was one. I think it was it might have been the first one.
All right, because that was
When it was Oregon, Florida State, Alabama, and Ohio State.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah. So this would basically not be a repeat, but it'd be the first time that has happened since that, which was a couple years ago for sure.
Yeah, that was the second playoff.
Yeah, that was a while ago. So,
Yeah.
That'll be really interesting. There's still, Georgia's playoff chances
They're
are
still there,
alive.
yep.
Yep. As of now, Minnesota's playoff chances.
And
are
let's
still
be honest,
alive.
as of right now, beating Baylor, Oklahoma's are still alive.
Yeah, Oklahoma's.
It's
still
gonna be tough,
alive as
though.
well. Yeah, Oklahoma will have a hard time making it in. Currently, they don't have anybody in their conference
That could,
in the top.
yeah.
Or even outside of Baylor, even and Oklahoma State in that top 25.
I think what could happen, going forward, what's going to happen, it's going to be crazy Oklahoma State championship.
That would be interesting, actually.
Yeah, the rivalry of Oklahoma schools, like it's already a big rivalry, but make it a conference championship and it's even crazier.
Oh yeah, that'd be real interesting. I don't know about Oklahoma State's chances of making it into the playoffs. But
No, Oklahoma State won't make the playoff, but it would be a fun, and I don't think, even if Oklahoma wins that, if all goes as planned, they still won't make it in the playoff either. So it would just be a fun Big 12 championship to watch.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so we're going to stay with college football. So Alabama, the reason we're not really talking about them, first off, their chances are pretty much done because they don't really play anybody else outside of, like, I guess, Auburn.
Yeah, there's no way for them to get in because they lost to LSU. They're not going to make the SEC championship.
No,
There's just no way that Alabama makes it.
And it's kind of sad because this was a talented team offensively. They were fun to watch. But at the same time, yesterday, Tua Tagovailoa, he went down with a hip injury.
Dislocated hip.
Yeah, and there
Done
was
for the
something
season.
else in there too. I forgot what the injury was.
He got a bloody nose, but
Yeah, but so the thing is with this dislocated hip, a lot of people are comparing it to the type of injury Bo Jackson suffered, the career-ending one.
oh, I know it's sad because
Oh yeah,
Tua was supposed to be the #1 pick overall, but
it's in jeopardy right now.
absolutely, I think me and Cody were talking. Does he stay one more year? You think?
So Cody and I were talking about this too because we were at work last night, and I don't think he does. It's really hard to see him want to stay in college another year because he's not getting paid for being a great quarterback at Alabama. But like, if you could go to the NFL, make some money while he still can play, then that might be good.
Yeah, it is sad because he was like, I was excited for him to see him play in the NFL. I was excited to see him be a franchise quarterback, make a big career in the NFL, and lead a team. And I almost guarantee he probably would have won a Super Bowl at some point in his career.
Yeah, for sure.
But with this happening, I don't know if he'll even play for 2 years. Like play 2 years, like
hip injuries are real bad, and like they're saying it's like the Bo Jackson one, and like a lot could go wrong if he was to re-injure that hip again. But I do think I'd rather risk playing in the NFL and getting paid than risk playing college and not getting paid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like he could still go back to Alabama when he has that money. Because I think even with this injury, he's probably still a first-round pick. No,
Yeah.
not
#1 overall anymore.
No, maybe he might drop out of that top 5. To be honest.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But that opens up Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is the obvious #1 pick now.
Oh yeah, it's opening up for Burrow. So
Yeah.
we'll see. But yeah, I don't think he goes back. Do you think he goes back?
No, I don't think he goes back.
Okay. Yeah.
But here's the other thing I think about. The only reason I would say he would go back is if no team wants to draft him because of this injury.
That'd be really it's hard to think about him not getting drafted with. With
Well,
him
he's still
being
one of
in the 4th round.
Yeah, and he's one of the best quarterbacks to play in college in a long time.
Of course.
A long time.
Yeah.
And he's going to be good in the NFL if he can stay healthy. Yeah, it's just sad. It stinks to see it because I'm not an Alabama fan. I'm happy Alabama loses, but
Yeah.
but Tua, I wanted to see play in the NFL.
Oh yeah.
I really wanted to see him in the
He's
NFL.
a really good person in general.
Yeah.
Handled that whole Jalen Hurts situation really well. Jalen Hurts did as well. Those are two very high character type of guys, and obviously Tua was a very talented quarterback. He's been a talented one since high school. So I don't know. His playing days are definitely in jeopardy. I think he's gonna try to come back, but in my opinion, I think you just go to the NFL.
See what you can do there.
Yeah, for sure. And plus, you're losing, Jerry Jeudy and Henry Ruggs too. That's tough. That's real tough trying to recover from a hip injury and
Not
do
having
all
them.
that. It's not. It just doesn't look attractive to go back, and it's sad to see that. That's the end of that. What do you think of Nick Saban's decision keeping him in?
What was the score at the time?
They were up by 21, 28. It was 35-7. So yeah, 28.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna actually. I'm not a big Nick Saban fan, obviously.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm probably gonna be on. I'm gonna go on his side this time for the first time. Like, I don't think like him. Yeah, you're up by 20 points. I would at least. I mean, if he's my starting quarterback, I'm probably playing him until halftime.
Yeah.
Injured or not.
Yeah,
you
there
know?
are 3 minutes left.
Yeah, I'm probably. So I don't think it's a bad thing that he was playing them. I'm not gonna put it on. Like, I was watching some like shows this morning and yesterday about it, and like all the announcer like sports broadcasters were all furious with him, like, why is he playing? He's injured, all this stuff. I'm like, well, at the same time, like, he's your quarterback. He should at least play the first half of the game. Like,
oh, for sure.
And,
I mean, they were trying to do a 2-minute drill.
Yeah, and so I don't think he's in the wrong for playing him. I don't think that he should have pulled him. I think he should have played till halftime.
No, yeah, I agree. I knew. So they did say that was going to be, the last drive they gave to him. So they wanted him to score. And here's the thing: like, if you're not a coach, you might not understand this, but like, if you're a really good team like Alabama, you don't want to wait until really big games to be ready for stuff like 2-minute drills and stuff like that. If there's an opportunity to learn and like teach your players, you got to take advantage of it.
Especially in college. Like, that's what college is for.
Yeah, for sure. Like, not just like like game situations are always going to be different than practice. So if you have a situation where you could like practice a 2-minute drill in a game, I think you got to take advantage.
Yeah, and especially I think also me and Simon both have some coaching experience and some coaching background. Like, we can both agree on that. Like, as your starting quarterback, it doesn't matter if you're up by 20 in the second quarter. Like, he's playing because he's your starting quarterback.
Yeah, you gotta start him.
Yeah, I would now if this happened maybe at the end of the third quarter, then we have something to talk about.
Oh yeah.
But it's still only second quarter. Like,
he's
a starter. Yeah. Let him play the first half and then take him out in the second half. But I don't think Nick Saban was in any wrong of starting him or playing him in the second quarter with up by 20. And still, at the same time, it's Mississippi State. They're still obviously it's Mississippi State. They're not doing that great this year, but it's still an SEC opponent.
Yeah.
20 points isn't a guaranteed win in the SEC.
Oh yeah. They could score 2 or 3 touchdowns easily.
Yeah.
Maybe even defensive touchdowns as well.
So I don't think, and I think Nick Saban thought this too. Like, 20 points. This game's not won yet.
No.
Exactly. That's why they wanted him in the 2-minute drill to drive down and score.
Yeah.
It's like, this game is not won yet.
That's true. Yeah, no, I agree. I really don't blame Nick Saban. Like I said, from a coaching standpoint, I'd keep him in. I think of Dabo Swinney and Clemson. They've been in situations like that, and they definitely keep Trevor Lawrence in until at least halftime.
Yeah, no, and yeah.
So, it's
and
a
then
coaching thing.
people are going to say, like, oh, but he was injured. I'm like, yeah, but he played good against LSU. He played great in the first quarter, basically. So, like, the injury obviously wasn't affecting him.
No,
and I heard a lot of the sportscasters were like, well, he can't protect himself. I'm like, well, he can protect himself.
Yeah.
He's a quarterback. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, for sure.
That was just a freak injury that happens sometimes in sports. Like, whether he was injured or not, that's going to happen to a quarterback who gets tackled like that.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't matter who it is.
He's been tackled like that like a billion times too before.
Yeah, it's just one of those freak injuries that happens.
Yeah,
and
like they said, it's like the Bo Jackson injury. It doesn't look like much, but it is.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
But,
I'm going to talk about one more thing before we move on from this subject, and I'll ask you about it. So now we said in our for our NFL draft and stuff like that, Joe Burrow obviously just got the number 1 ticket if he stays healthy, obviously.
Yeah.
To be the number 1 pick overall. Can we both agree that he's going to be the number 1 pick overall now?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Let's see how he can.
But then that brings in the question: if you go back to our mock draft, we have 2 quarterbacks going because the top 2 teams need quarterbacks. Does that mean Jalen Hurts goes number 2 to Miami?
Yeah.
You think so?
I do think so. Yeah. I don't know. He played well, in that Baylor game. Obviously, he led them from a really big deficit.
I still think, he came back from a big deficit. I also think he hasn't played in these flashy games like Joe Burrow has, and more like these primetime games. But in the long run, he is statistic-wise and game-winning-wise, he's right there with Joe Burrow and LSU.
Yeah.
He has a better quarterback rating. I saw. He has a few less passing touchdowns, but what he lacks in that, he made up for in rushing touchdowns. He has scored just as many touchdowns as Joe Burrow has. He protects the ball pretty well, with the exception of a few turnovers that happened against Baylor, and a few turnovers. But I do think he goes 2 now. I think he moved up to that next quarterback taken.
Yep, no, I agree. I think people in these next couple months are really going to take a look, obviously at his game film, and then they're going to pay attention to, his character, because, you see what he had to deal with Alabama, getting benched literally after bringing them to a national championship, how he handled that professionally. Then at Oklahoma, just showing off his work ethic and being mature and, having that same composure, I think a lot of people are going to fall in love with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Plus the ability, the raw potential ability that's there, he's a winner. So I think that's what you want in your franchise. And, I wouldn't be surprised if some people might try to put him over Joe Burrow, depending on how LSU does these last
I don't know.
games.
I still put Joe Burrow first.
If Joe Burrow gets at least one loss, it might be
Jalen Hurts number 1 overall?
Potentially, even if it's in the national championship.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
It's going to be good, but we can agree on those two going first and second.
Sure.
All right.
All right, so we're going to take a little break. We're going to come back talking about the Cleveland Browns versus Pittsburgh Steelers fight that happened on Thursday. Coming up next. All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Cycle with 365. It is November 17th. This is episode 11. So we're going to talk about the Thursday night football game that happened between the Pittsburgh Steelers in Cleveland playing against the Browns. So in the last
8 seconds.
Yeah,
last 8 seconds. Well, the play started with 12 seconds left. By the time the play was over, it was 8 seconds.
Yeah. So, the last 12 seconds of the game. Basically a fight erupted between Myles Garrett, Mason Rudolph, Marquise Pouncey. There was another player in there.
It was DeCastro. DeCastro was in there, but he didn't do anything, really.
Yeah, DeCastro.
He just laid on top of Myles Garrett.
Yeah, that's true, though. And it was a brawl, and it basically ended up with Myles Garrett hitting Mason Rudolph
with his
own helmet. With Mason's own helmet.
Yeah, after ripping it off.
Yeah, so I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I didn't watch this game in person because I was already stressed out. So I decided to hang out with friends instead. But I saw this the next day. So here, Jesse, why don't you tell me about it, and then I'll say what Cody told me about it.
Okay.
And Cody's not here right now, but I'll say what he said, and then I'll give my 2 cents.
Well, to start off, unfortunately for Browns fans, you can't win a game. But then when you do, you can't win a game because you guys are terrible winners, apparently. What's going on? You're up by 2 touchdowns with 12 seconds left. There's no way
There's third and 30.
Yeah, on the 20-yard line. There's no way they're going to win this game. What are you doing, Myles Garrett?
Yeah.
That's just a question. It's a sore winning mentality. If you watch the play, Mason Rudolph dumps the ball off, and Myles Garrett, what he should have done if he was being a smart football player, with the lead, should have just let go of Mason Rudolph, and everyone would have been fine. The game would have been over, and the Browns would have won. Yep. But instead, he takes 5 more steps and then drives Mason Rudolph into the ground, and then that angers Mason Rudolph, and Mason Rudolph did put his hands into Myles Garrett's face and tried to rip off his helmet, but was unsuccessful because he's not that strong. But anyways.
Well, yeah, it's Myles Garrett versus Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, but then, Then they get up, and Myles Garrett, I still don't know why he's ripping off this helmet.
Mason's helmet.
Yeah, ripping off Mason's helmet. And if anything, it should have stopped right there.
Yeah.
I think Mason Rudolph should have stopped. Same with Myles Garrett. And then Myles Garrett obviously slams the helmet on top. I think it's just poor sportsmanship. I mean, I was at a loss for words. I don't even know what to say.
That's embarrassing to have that. It's not only sports news, it's multiple other news networks picked up what happened on national television right there.
Yeah, it also could, if you go into the legal side of things, I've done a little bit of research on the legal side of sports and everything like that. Yeah. Technically, that is a felony. That is assault and battery.
It is.
So that's what is an interesting thing about pro sports. We can talk about that. It's a whole new topic, but the stuff that they can get away with is technically, that's a felony. That is an offense that you can go to jail for, and you probably should go to jail for. But since it's Myles Garrett, all he's gonna do is get suspended for the rest of the year and maybe into next year. But he's gonna play again. He'd get fined, obviously, but he's not going to jail like if someone on the street would. So,
that's for sure.
So that should tell you the severity of this act. It's a felony.
Do you think it was fair that he got that indefinite suspension then?
Absolutely. He should not play the rest of the year at all.
Because it might even bleed
into next year. Yeah, no, I heard it could go into the first 6 games of next year too.
Yeah.
Which it should. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just don't know what is going through his mind there. Like, I guess the inexperience of winning. That's what I have to say. Like no, if you watch a team that wins games, they don't do that. Like Myles Garrett. Like, what's going on in your head? You're winning by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there. So, here, before I get into my thing. So, Cody, we were talking about it last night at work again. And he said that he feels like Mason Rudolph is equally responsible.
Oh, absolutely. I think he definitely. Really? I wouldn't say equally responsible because he didn't commit a felony, but he still was the one that started it and was had just as much of the fight as Myles Garrett did. He just didn't take that extreme.
Well, do you think Mason should get suspended for as long as Myles Garrett?
I don't think. No, I don't think.
Or at all?
I don't think. No, he didn't do anything to get a suspension.
Okay.
He got a personal foul, obviously.
Yeah. And he's getting fined for that. That just came out today.
Yeah, but I don't think he. I mean, you can see there's just an obvious difference between acting on it and Mason Rudolph was just being a little weenie and running around pushing Myles Garrett. So he didn't really do anything to get suspended.
Okay. All right, that's fair.
But he definitely had just as much to do with it as Myles Garrett.
I don't know about just as much because like you said, Myles Garrett was the one who landed on him after it was a shovel pass, and like you said, he didn't have to land on him because he did drive him into the ground. Yeah,
but after 4 steps, it should have been a roughing the passer anyways.
Yeah, it should have been a penalty. I don't know why that wasn't anything, but it's fine. I do get that Mason shouldn't have reacted that way. I don't blame him because if you go back and look at it, Myles Garrett was on top of him for a really long time, and Mason was trying to push him off, but he wouldn't get off because Myles Garrett's like a 6'5", 270-pound man.
Yeah.
So that's tough. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I'm a Steelers fan. I'm biased, so I'm gonna feel biased towards it. I'll be honest. Let me just start this off. Alejandro Villanueva totally just whiffed on that block on Myles Garrett, which resulted on him basically laying out Mason Rudolph. So that kind of made me mad. That's on Villanueva. I'm not the biggest fan of him right now. But I think, I don't know, it's really hard for me to say that Mason Rudolph could have stopped it. From a Steelers fan's point of view. Yeah, no,
I definitely don't. I definitely think yes. Okay, I should take it back. Okay. Maybe not. They didn't have the equal fault in it.
Yeah.
But Mason Rudolph still could have acted differently.
That's true.
And it wouldn't have gotten to the situation.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. That's true. I mean, he definitely escalated.
Yeah, he definitely still has some fault in it.
Yeah.
Not to the severity of Myles Garrett, but still some fault in it.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't think he deserves to get suspended. With the Cleveland Browns, I think Myles Garrett doing that says a lot about Freddie Kitchens and coaching staff. Because, really, is there any reason to do that while the score is 21-7 with
8 seconds? Yeah, 8 seconds left in the game. It's over.
And it's 3rd and 32 on the other 20-yard line, so it's not like this is a big play. It's like a run out the clock type of thing. But he chose to dive on Mason Rudolph and then, ultimately taking off his helmet and hitting him with it. Also, by the way, Mason Rudolph is currently in the process of suing Myles Garrett for assault, basically. Mm-hmm. So he's looking to take his paychecks the next couple of games, if there are any. Myles Garrett's about to be really broke pretty soon here because he is on that rookie deal. So I think that's fair, too, because, come on. You can't be doing that. You need to be better. As a Steelers fan, I was livid. I didn't like how he played anyways. But that kind of just topped it all off. So I hope when the Browns come to Pittsburgh after we play the Bengals next week, we bounce back and we get a little physical with it. We make a statement for sure. We beat him, and get back in that playoff picture. Because right now we're at 500.
Yeah. So. I also think out of all this, though, there was something funny.
What?
My favorite part was DeCastro, right? He just at the end, once Myles Garrett hit Mason Rudolph with the helmet, Castro just tackled Myles Garrett and just laid on him for
Yeah.
like 5, I would say like 30 seconds, just laid
Just
on
got
him.
on top
He's
of
just
him,
way
yeah.
bigger than Myles Garrett and just laid on top and said, "No, you're not going anywhere."
No, I like that.
It was so,
Castro's a homie.
yeah, no, he was the only smart one in that whole situation. He's the only smart one because all he did was just lay on the guy that was causing the issues,
That's true.
which is hilarious. But anyways,
What do you think of Marquise Pouncey and what he did? Because he basically started. So
he basically, okay, yeah.
Yeah, because the Castro held Myles Garrett down, and then Pouncey started kicking him
Yeah.
and then punching him. Like,
Well, I don't think Marquise Pouncey should have done that.
Yeah.
1, 2, he looked like a little child, just running around like, "He hit my friend!" Basically.
But but do you like that though? Because it's your lineman defending your quarterback. Could you blame him for that?
No, but at the same time, like, you shouldn't be kicking and punching him.
No,
You should be doing what the catcher was doing, just laying on top of him, keeping him away, showing that you're more of a man than him, laying on top of him, you know?
Okay.
Like,
That's
I don't think punching and kicking him is going to be the way to do this.
I mean,
Because then you're just...
escalating. But yeah,
I know,
you're
but,
right.
like, punching and kicking is assault and battery as well.
It is.
So, like, that's the same offense that Myles Garrett did, that Marquise Pouncey did. It's the same offense, so, in legal terms. So, I mean, like...
Yeah. I'm okay with Pouncey getting that 3-game suspension. I think.
No, yeah,
that's-
he deserves that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But here, I kind of wanted to talk about that game a little bit more. So with Mason Rudolph, he wasn't playing well that game. He threw 4 interceptions. Okay, I don't. Did you watch that game?
I did not watch it.
Okay. Well, he didn't look good. I mean, you've watched other Steelers games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So at this point, what is it? We're like 10 games. Into
10
the
games
season?
in, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't really like Mason Rudolph as the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Is that an overreaction?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that hit to his head really changed some things too.
Yeah, it didn't make me feel better after Myles Garrett hit him with the helmet either, because I feel like there's definitely, it doesn't look good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the Pittsburgh Steelers does have a history of covering up head injuries as well.
Antonio Brown.
Yeah, Antonio Brown. If any of y'all watch the movie Concussion, there are at least 5 or 6 Pittsburgh Steelers who, they basically help people discover CT. So there's that. I'm really nervous about his well-being, but I also don't think he's that quarterback right now. I think we got to draft.
You got to go outside to get a new quarterback.
Yeah.
For Pittsburgh.
Okay. All right. Well, I just wanted to see.
Could be
if
Colin
you-
Kaepernick.
Ooh,
We'll see.
Yeah, it could be. So, speaking of Cap, first off, we're going to take a really quick break.
When we come back, we are going to talk about the workout that Colin Kaepernick had.
Yep, just yesterday. Coming up next. Alright, so for this last segment of this relatively short episode, we're going to talk about the Colin Kaepernick workout that took place yesterday, November 18th, 2019. It's been 3 years since he's played in the NFL. Basically, he hasn't been signed because of his protest.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll call it. Yeah, his protest against racial inequality and police brutality. So here's what happened. Let me set the stage. So on Tuesday, this last week, the NFL announced that they were going to put on a workout for Colin Kaepernick. But I thought it was really unconventional because they said the workout would take place on a Saturday, which, for those of you who aren't NFL fans, games are on Sundays. So what do you think teams are doing? Not, scouting or looking for a quarterback to bring in, or any players to bring in, honestly. So there's that. It was real short notice. They told all the teams that, they'd send them all film on Cap and they encouraged them to go and they would do an interview, all that stuff. But it was real shady how it was going to go down. This workout would have been a private workout, which meant only,
NFL scouts.
Yeah, NFL scouts, personnel could go, which means that, no media could go in and record any of the throws. And honestly, that kind of seems sketch to me because, and Jesse, I think you agree here, like, the fact that no one from the media or any outside people could come and watch could definitely mean that, like, those NFL teams could easily say, oh, he didn't have a good workout, that's why he's not in the league, even if he did have a good workout, because, like, who's going to refute them?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
we could agree on that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was real suspect. So, he was, and, they had all these other weird things, like the NFL was trying to make him sign a waiver, like it wasn't a waiver for his own well-being, but it was more like, hey, if we give you this workout, you can't sue us again, because So it was just a weird set of circumstances.
Yeah, and there were 13 scouts that said they were going to go.
Yes.
13 teams were going to
13
that were going to go to this private workout.
Yeah, for sure. There were 13 that said they would for sure go there. Right?
Yep.
And then obviously this workout would be sent to all 32 teams in the NFL, including the interview that he did. But early Saturday morning, he decided to move the workout from the NFL facility to it was a high school field, just so he could open up to the media. And, he just told the NFL basically like, hey, I'm not going to do this weird little workout for you, because he could easily get blackballed again. So what do you think about that, Jesse? Him changing the location of the workout? It was still in the same city.
Yeah, I think it's fine that he did that, and I think it's good that the media came.
Yeah.
I think the media needed to be there.
Why did you think the media needed to be there, in your opinion?
Well, I think, first of all, I think the world deserved to see what Colin Kaepernick could still do.
That's true.
And then also, just so we know really what he's about.
Yeah, all right, that's fair. I did see Stephen A. Smith. I was really surprised he was saying all this, but Stephen A. Smith said that if Kaepernick was for real about getting into the NFL, he wouldn't have pulled a publicity stunt like this, moving it so that it was open to the media. And I'm really like, was this really a publicity stunt though? Because it doesn't really seem that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he was saying too, like, everyone knows Colin Kaepernick could play. But at the same time, did we really know that he could play 3 years removed from the NFL?
Yeah, we'll go into the performance in a second.
Yeah.
But I think the media needed to be there because, we deserve to see. People need to see what he can do.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, it's football. Like, let's be real. This is a football workout. He's working out for teams. I mean, like, obviously you need your team personnel to be there, but like, on a wider level.
What about the fans? The fans, you need to have the support. If you're going to bring in a player like Colin Kaepernick, you need to have the fan support.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's like, as much as the NFL wants to separate themselves from Kaepernick, because they do. I think Kaepernick, he was a good player, brought the 49ers to a Super Bowl. Just with all the things going on with them, politics aside, honestly, like, I think they need to see, like, football-wise, can he still play? You need to know that. Because if nobody else could see it and you're relying on a bunch of scouts, like, scouts could be wrong. And even scouts could lie, too.
Well, at the
There are
same
definitely
time,
a lot of scouts that have done it before.
Me aspiring to be a scout,
Yeah.
if I go, some other scout that sits next to me could say, oh, this guy did really good, where in my mind, I'm like, he did terrible. Like, that's not what we want.
Yeah, it's subjective.
Yeah.
It can be, at least.
So that's why that's good that they had the media so that people can actually see what he actually did so that they can put into their words how he did.
For sure. And so let's talk about his performance. So I saw a couple highlights. The biggest one, my favorite though, that he made, and he only threw for like 40-ish minutes. He didn't do the interview. We'll get to that in a sec. But so he threw 40-ish minutes. His favorite though was this deep bomb. It was a straight, streak type of route. And, he just uncorked it real long from the 50-yard line, or it might have been maybe the 40-yard line.
Yeah.
Sorry. It might have been from the 40-yard line, and he just threw a beautiful ball on the money to a receiver. It was a great throw.
Yeah, and from what I heard and saw, he slung the ball really well and did perform great.
Yeah.
Like, he looked good.
There, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked great.
NFL arm talent.
Oh, yeah. We all know he could still run. He definitely is on the wrong side of 30. But, the talent's still there. He basically did have 2 or 3 years to recover because he was going through a lot of injuries those last couple years with San Francisco. So he looked healthy. He looked good. Really can't. There's not much you could say to just to hate on his performance. But I thought he had a really good workout. Did you see any of those videos?
I saw 2 of his deep bombs that looked really good.
Yeah. Very, very, very good. Timing looks great. Doesn't look like there was any rust there. But see, here's the test though. What team is going to bite? Because like you said, there were 13 teams that said they would go. Only 8 teams
showed up after the change. That could be. Me and Simon talked about a few reasons that could have happened. One, the change of location. It's hard for me to believe because it's in the same city. As
Yeah.
a scout, if you're there to watch him,
Might as
you're
well
going to go over there.
Yeah. It's like an hour away.
I think it had more to do with the fact that the teams, before there was media allowed, the teams were fine sending them. But then when there was media, they didn't want to be associated, quote unquote, associated with the Colin
There you
Kaepernick
go.
thing. So like, if the media was there, then they would know which teams were there.
Okay.
I personally think that Colin Kaepernick should get another chance in the NFL after seeing him work. Not because like I think he should get one more chance in the NFL, but I think he's still physically a good enough quarterback that she should get another chance in the NFL.
Okay.
I think he's an elite quarterback that should get a chance.
Elite?
I'm not saying like an elite NFL quarterback. I'm saying an elite quarterback that should get a chance
Free
in the
agent
NFL. Yeah,
wise. Okay.
get a chance in the NFL.
Okay.
I wouldn't say an elite, like I'm not talking about like Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson. That's elite NFL quarterbacks.
Yeah, of course.
Whereas an elite quarterback, like on the Joe Burrow, like Joe Burrow's an elite quarterback.
So you're talking about like the prospect level.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So he's
on
like
the
I still
prospect
think as a prospect level he still has he's a good enough quarterback that he should get a chance in the NFL again.
Okay.
I think he should get another chance just because of that.
For sure. Do you think he could be a starter?
I think he could on a team like the Broncos. Absolutely. The Broncos were there. We
Yeah.
will say they were one of the 8 teams that did go.
They were. They're showing interest right now.
Yeah, they're showing because the Broncos need a quarterback. Like they need to figure something out because at this point they're not going to get a high enough draft pick to get like we talked about earlier in the podcast, a Joe Burrow or Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. Tua might be out of the question.
Yeah, and Tua, especially with the line that the Broncos have, like Tua would be getting hit too much.
Yeah,
We don't want that. He needs to go to someone like Dallas.
Tua?
Yeah. But anyways, I think like, we're not going to get one of those top quarterbacks. So we're going to have to look for free agency, and I think in free agency he's one of the better choices.
Yeah, he could be a bridge quarterback for y'all.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't know if Drew Lock is that guy, but I'd rather take Kaepernick over Joe Flacco.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because, like, I don't know. Joe Flacco doesn't even care about football.
I think Joe Flacco needs to retire. I think he should be done. I think this is the second year in a row he's gotten overtaken by a young quarterback. Granted, he did get injured this year.
Yeah.
But like last year, Lamar Jackson took the job from him.
Yeah.
This year, let's be honest, Drew Lock was gonna take. If he wouldn't have got hurt, Drew Lock was gonna take the position from him.
Probably.
So I think he should just be done. He had a good career. Had a great career. At quarterback, a long good career in the NFL. Would you say he's a Hall of Fame quarterback?
No, heck
No.
Definitely
Okay.
not. I put him in the Trent Dilfer conversation.
Okay.
Right there.
Yeah, but at the same time, he's had a good long career. I think he should retire. I don't think he has anything more in the NFL ahead of him,
That's fair.
unless maybe a backup quarterback.
See, he has too much. I don't think
Exactly.
he's that type of guy to
Yeah.
want to be a backup, though.
So he either needs to retire or retire.
That's fair. All right, so we already mentioned the Denver Broncos. So I don't exactly have that list of teams that are interested, but let's just talk.
Let's think about it. It's like
because Cap did say at the end. So he said that he was open to do interviews at whatever time. He just encouraged teams to call him. He did say this. He told all those scouts and GMs after he thanked them, of course, to tell their owners to stop being scared. So let's see. Let's talk about this. Which owner is not going to be scared? Which team is going to take that chance? How about you name a team? And then
the Broncos. I mean, John Elway has shown it. He's not scared of any quarterback, even if they are terrible. So I think John Elway can take that chance. I think he would. I think that's the thing that he would do. Yeah. So I think John Elway is one.
Okay. That's interesting.
Miami. I think Miami's a big one that would take a shot on him.
Yeah, they could use a bridge quarterback.
Well, not only a bridge quarterback. I think again we're going back to your question of which owners would take that chance and not be scared. I think Miami's one of those that would not be scared because at this point, what do they have to lose?
Yeah, that's true.
I think Miami would have that.
Do you think this might possibly I really can't see this happening, but do you think the Cowboys might try to take him just to have that backup behind Dak? Because if Dak goes down, who do they have?
Yeah, that's tough. See, like that's where I would think of more of like a great. I don't know if Dallas would take them. Jerry Jones doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would deal with that.
He puts his political views first.
So
Okay,
I don't think.
Right.
I think more of if you're looking for that, I think a money thing for the Dallas Cowboys would be to draft Tua, have him as your backup.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
It depends if they pay Dak as well.
Yeah. So I don't think Dallas is there. So I think we have the Broncos, the Dolphins,
Patriots potentially.
I'm in the same boat with I think.
Oh wait, hold up. Robert Kraft is in that.
That's tough. I
don't know.
That's a tough one right there because I could on paper you would look at him and say Robert Kraft, no.
Yeah.
But if you see what he's done in the past, there might be a case for it. I think he could possibly do it, but I still wouldn't put that. I think my last choice would be the Bengals wouldn't. I don't think the Bengals would take the chance.
This is tough.
Yeah.
Because I know there are teams that are gonna want him.
Yeah.
How about here? I'll just throw this out there. What about the San Francisco 49ers?
I was
They have a
thinking.
new regime.
I was thinking the 49ers going back to San Francisco.
Yeah.
But one team that I was gonna say, the Oakland Raiders moving to Las Vegas.
Okay.
That would be my third team. I would go with the Broncos, the Dolphins, and then the Raiders. I think the Raiders would. I could definitely see the Raiders being a team that would make this move.
Okay. Yeah. I like that. All right.
So I think those are my three teams that I would think to do this. Granted, I don't know who was there at the thing as well. All I know is that the Broncos were there.
Yeah.
But
no, for sure. I know the Dolphins were interested.
Yeah.
As well. So that'll be interesting. I think here I'll name my teams. So I like the Raiders. Like I said, I already mentioned them. I like a possible reunion
with
the
49ers.
San Francisco
Yeah, I can see that
49ers.
too.
Yeah, I think having a guy behind Jimmy Garoppolo, that might be big. Especially, with a defense this talented,
Mm-hmm.
I think you got to take that chance sooner than later so we could figure out this offense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, imagine the story. If they make it into the playoffs and say, Jimmy G tears his ACL again, and Colin Kaepernick enters the game and brings them, the 49ers, yet to another Super Bowl against, whoever. I don't know.
The Ravens probably.
Yeah, probably the Ravens.
Which would be funny.
49ers versus
Which
the
would be
Ravens
funny.
again.
Yeah.
Part 2. This time Flacco's not there, and you got another guy, a Lamar Jackson, who's looked up to Kaepernick.
probably going to win it,
Yeah.
to be honest. But if you put the 49ers and Colin Kaepernick versus Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, I'm picking the Ravens.
Oh, yeah.
9 out of 10 times. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be such a great game to watch?
It would be a funny storyline too.
It would. I could also see the Saints. Well, actually, no, sorry, not the Saints. I could see the Texans doing it.
Not after today.
Well,
You
maybe
saw the
not
score,
after
right?
today. Yeah, I did. But, I don't know if they got a backup after Deshaun, like a legit one. Because, we've seen the power of having good backup quarterbacks in the NFL
Nick
this
Foles.
season. Oh, yeah.
Won a Super Bowl.
We'll have to see. Backup quarterbacks, they look, as important as ever this season. So I think there's a lot of teams that would take him. We'll just have to see.
Yeah.
But we could both agree that he deserves the job.
Yes, I think he does.
Okay. I don't agree with what Stephen A. Smith said that, he did it for publicity or whatever. I think he wants to play football. This was about football. I don't like the whole closed workout thing. Didn't think that was cool. I think they kind of messed with him by putting it on a Saturday instead of a normal weekday.
Yeah.
But all that aside, he performed well. We saw the arm talent. It's up to teams to, take that chance.
Mm-hmm.
Stop being scared.
I personally
for a workout.
would like to see Denver take him.
Yeah, I would like that too. I would probably buy a Kaepernick Broncos jersey.
Yeah,
I would.
I personally think he could thrive in that system.
Yeah, I think so too. And I don't know. I think that would be really good to just have a vet like him there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then develop whatever young guys you're trying to develop.
Yep, I think he'd be good in Denver. And last thing I'll say on it, as we go back to how he's told the GMs and the owners, don't be afraid. I think if you look at sport in this day and age, you can't be scared. And if I was an owner, I would take this chance because that's just how sport is going in this day and age,
For sure.
this century.
No,
I'd say it's moving into more of that political side,
But I think you can't let politics play.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Is
you know what I'm saying?
It's coming into this thing where old school political things rode. That's what I'm trying to say. I should rephrase it differently, like you said.
Okay.
Back in prior, I don't know, even 2000 or whatever you say, political issues were a big part of it. I think we're moving into a time of sports where political issues, just because of how the world is, need to stop driving what you think.
That's true. If you could play, you could play.
Yeah.
No, obviously, if there's a legal issue in there, then there's a legal issue. But yeah, if you could play, you could play. I think Kaepernick deserves a job. It sucks that we have to rule out teams like the Cowboys and Jerry Jones from signing Kaepernick because we we all know what kind of, where they lean towards and what they kind of like. Is even Robert Kraft, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, like, if he was to go to the Cowboys, I think he'd be an excellent quarterback backup for Dak Prescott, and he could jump in there and, not screw up. He could probably play well, if Dak could do it, I think Cap could. But, yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah,
I think
the
he
team's
deserves a job.
Yeah, the team. Let's just for fun to end this in the podcast. Let's say our top 3 teams we think that won't sign him whatsoever.
Ooh, that won't sign him?
Yeah, one is Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas for sure.
The Seattle Seahawks. I just don't
Do you
think,
think-
I don't think Pete Carroll's about that.
Okay, all right.
Plus they have Russell Wilson, the same thing.
That's true. He's probably okay.
Yeah. I don't think the Seahawks would do it.
Okay, I'm trying to think of more teams.
And I would have to say,
I would probably say the Philadelphia Eagles.
yeah, I can see.
Or actually, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I did mention it earlier that the Pittsburgh Steelers. But yeah, I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers would take him.
No, they said they were gonna go,
And then they didn't.
And that kind of makes me mad because I don't think Mason Rudolph's the answer. And then our quarterback behind Mason is Paxton Lynch. Or no, wait,
Yikes.
it's Devlin Hodges. And then it's Paxton Lynch. So I know if it was up to Mike Tomlin, he'd bring him in. But the Rooneys and that family, like, I don't want to make any assumptions, but I don't think they're about the whole Kaepernick.
I also think one more team I'm going to say, because my third team,
Go for it.
I don't think the Redskins would take him.
Really?
Not at all.
Why not?
Well, one, they have Dwayne Haskins and Case Keenum, but
Okay.
I just don't see that organization bringing in a guy like Colin Kaepernick,
That's fair too. Actually, I can't see that.
especially in D.C.
Ooh. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Actually, yeah, that's a good one. Actually.
So those are my 3.
Yeah, I like that. All right, well, we'll end it there. All right,
Yeah.
so that's it for this episode of the Cycle 365. We're gonna try to come out with content consistently, but if we don't, well, I guess then we don't.
It's finals. It's finals right now. That's why it's so
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, it's about to be finals, but it could be crazy. We're college students. We're gonna stay on top of it, get content out when we can. This is Simon Villanos.
I'm Jesse Booten, and Cody's on his own.
Yeah, I don't know where Cody's at, to be honest. But all right, signing off. See y'all next time.
This is Slot Production.